Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 126.
126.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
Big doings this weekend. Special event on the 29th, this Saturday.
With Bill Sully Sullivan.
Disney legend Bill Sully Sullivan.
He was just at the D23 Destination D.
That's right. Prizes, all sorts of stuff, and we will be stopping in ourselves.
And PixieVacations.com. They are our travel agent sponsor. It is never too late. Sometimes it's too late, but to plan for Christmas at Walt Disney World, they are also giving us this great pair of mini ears to give away. And all you have to do is say which Disney resort is your favorite for the holidays, and on our Facebook page or on our Twitter. And also it'll be on the website. I'm going to write a little article by next Tuesday night at midnight EST. That's December 2nd, and we just have the one set, and they're giving us another set of Santa ears for next week.
And also our official ticket agency, MapleLeafTickets.com, the best deals on tickets in town. First off, we're going to start with the Grand Floridian.
We were actually staying at the Gaylord Palms at this time, but we wanted to see the official opening of the gingerbread house. And
it was well worth it to get out there. I mean, what a nice surprise. Alice herself came out. She is a big part of the house this year.
This is like the biggest scissors I have ever seen, I thought.
It's very scary when he's holding those giant scissors like that. They have to be careful.
You have to be careful. This is the first time they've had a character come out. This is, I believe, the 16th year of the Grand Floridian House.
That's right.
Gingerbread house. And this is the first time they've had Alice out here.
That's right. Alice with Chef Eric there. So, no, it was very good, very exciting. And Alice also is on the pin this year, by the way.
Right. And I don't know if they've sold out yet, but they have a limited edition pin for all of the gingerbread houses. And they had a signing this past weekend as well.
That's right. We were lucky enough to have Chef sign our pin while
Chef
we were
Eric.
there. Yeah, that's right. So we've picked up 2 so far. We'll have to see what else they have this year.
They have 30 different items here. Just like at Disney's Contemporary Resort, they have almost 30 as well. So there's so many different items to choose from.
I think we bought one of those little Olaf snow globe cookies, didn't we?
Yes, but you didn't you said no eating it.
Well, it's too cute
because
to
it looks like an
ornament.
ornament.
It's a hangable.
Yes, it's like an ornament. So we'll hang it on the tree and we'll buy another one.
Anyway, I'm so glad we came. And by now, as we do this recording, the big giant tree should be up.
Yes, it definitely is, and I can't wait to see it in the next couple days.
So one of our favorite Christmas and holiday traditions continued this year. We stayed at the Gaylord Palms for 2 nights, spent about 3 days going around and seeing all the great activities they have there.
And there's more than ever. And you can see there's ice. It wasn't too busy this day. It's sort of the beginning of the season. I think this week will be pretty crowded because it's Thanksgiving week. And here we are heading into ice.
That's right. This is ice. It's the Nutcracker themed this year. Neither of us are too familiar with the Nutcracker, but we've learned a little bit since we started doing this.
I have family members who actually go to the ballet every year, and I sort of wish now that I had done it myself. So one of these days we should go see the Nutcracker Ballet.
And I find you don't really have to understand the story to enjoy this. I mean, it's so beautiful. And remember, it is cold, cold, cold. It's supposed to be 9 degrees, but this was actually 6 degrees because there was fewer people there for the preview.
Yeah, we always bring our mittens, our everything. And we'll be seeing the On the Blocks ice bar in just a moment. That is a tongue twister.
That's right.
Which we really enjoyed, and it's new for this year.
Well, here's the bartender coming up. He's going to tell you what our options are, and we'll let him tell us.
You get 2 different drinks. You get to sample the Johnny Appleseed Hard Cider, and then you also get another drink of your choice between either 2 pre-made Maker's drinks, which is the Nutcracker or the Maker's Mint Julep. Nutcracker is Maker's Baileys and cream, and the Maker's Mint Julep is essentially a mojito, but instead of rum, it's Maker's. Or you can choose between Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, or Merlot.
And I had the Nutcracker, and you had
the Mint Julep.
And they were really good, and it was $15.95 additional per each guest, and you get 2 drinks with that. And I think that's not a bad deal, and that includes gratuity.
I actually like the Johnny Appleseed cider. I thought that was very good, and it's kind of cool how they pour it through the ice sculpture here.
Right, they call it an ice luge.
But you have to be careful. You don't want to. It would be very bad. See how it slides
you're
around?
Supposed to hold it,
Well,
Jeff.
yes, but I am holding a video camera.
I know.
You understand?
I know.
But, And this is, now you're actually sitting your butt on ice there. So that's why it says I froze my blocks off on the Blocks ice bar. And here they go. He's pouring our drinks now. And these glasses are really cool. They glow. I've sort of been using them around the house. Even for breakfast, I had my orange juice in one of these things. So.
And the $15.95 does include the cup as well.
That's right.
One cup
It was good. I thought it was a nice little bonus, nice diversion while you're in ice.
Right. I think so too. And there is the slides, which we enjoy every year.
One of my favorite parts of the whole experience. Always love the slide. And we got some good speed too. Sometimes, like when we went in last time a week ago, before it was really open, it was a little slow going down. Look how much speed I got today.
Today.
Well, the day
whenever you did this, and I only went down twice, and both times it was actually pretty fast. I saw you got
some good speed too.
So I really love that. And here is the Frostbite Factory.
My favorite part of ice.
And I would like to mention that ice is 2 million pounds of ice carved by artisans from Harbin, China, and this is at the Frostbite Factory. We can see one of the artisans
from China, yeah.
And there's always an artisan in here, except maybe short times during the day, and they show how they make their craft.
Well, if you go to ice early in the run like this, you could see he's sort of getting the base to the train he's going to build. Later on in the run, the train will be done. He will actually finish a whole nother display there, so that's another reason to come back.
Well, we should go back.
Yeah, hey, you won't have an argument from me.
And it's really like artwork. You know, this is artwork that will be here six weeks or so, and then it will be done, which is amazing. And this is crystal clear ice for the nativity scene, which is here every year.
Now this was new for this year, Alpine Rush Snow Tubing. I really loved this. In the past they've had snow, they've had a slushy thing. This is tremendous. Of course, I like the high-speed slide, so I enjoyed it.
And guests can buy a combo ticket.
Oh, there you go.
Guests can buy a combo ticket with ice for this, too. It actually freaked me out a little bit. It was fast, so Jeff went down like 6 times.
Now,
I went down twice.
I don't usually do the camera on a stick thing, but they asked me to help them out with a video. And you can see I really got some spinning going on here. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I've never heard of the word selfie stick until recently. It's not something we would ever...
It doesn't sound good.
we wouldn't purchase.
No. But it was fun. Again, I loved the slides. I could keep going on.
It is fast. It is fast.
It is very
surprisingly fast. You wouldn't expect how fast it is.
And here you go.
There I am. I'm like, and that was my second time. I'm like, I'm good. That's good. But you went down like 6 times.
Yeah, I could have gone more.
And everybody was loving it.
It's the running back up. It's actually warm in there after coming from the cold of ice. You know, now you're running up and down the slide, so I was getting a little hot.
And here are we looking at luminescence
now?
Well,
no.
Or
this
the
is
tree
the
lighting?
Tree lighting. I love the tree lighting, one of my favorite parts of the show.
Well, I think it's the same group of singers who do both.
Right, that's true.
But the tree lighting, this is a 54-foot tree. They have about 2 million lights at Gaylord Palms, which is probably half of what the Osborne lights is. So that's pretty good for a resort.
They do need to get a new electrician, though, because every year they have trouble lighting those lights.
It always stops.
Always stops, and then they need the crowd to give them energy to light the tree, and then it works. Now, this is Luminescence. I love Luminescence. It's sort of a little bit of a TSO thrown in with traditional Christmas music. This is
an aerialist.
Oh, it's great.
And a drummer in the air. And this is all included. Like if you are doing ice in the evening, almost every evening they have shows and the tree lighting. And this really is incredible. And just the value that it adds to your ice ticket, to me, is tremendous.
Yeah, we actually went back the next day and watched it again, and we watched the lights from our room. We had a room up at the balcony, and it was so nice to see this. I could see it over and over. It's a quick 25-minute show, so even the kids won't get bored, which I think is a good thing.
I don't think they would get bored anyway. I mean, you have the aerialists, and you have like with the ribbons.
Oh yeah, the silk aerialist.
Yes, and also just like the kind of a holiday rock music type thing. So it's hard to be bored by that.
Yeah, I love it. And there's another show too with a cappella singing, which is always fun. Now here's a view from our room. They gave us a great room suite this year, and you're looking down on the Everglades, and we're going to see later on. Well, we won't see the grunts, which are the little alligators.
Those are like a favorite of mine. I always have to see them anytime we come here.
But we will see the full-size alligators, which are in St. Augustine, and I think we're going to see those next. They're down there in the little waterfall-y swamp area.
Right, and we'll see also decorations. And this was a nice view. We couldn't really see the tree too much, but you could see all the beautiful decorations.
Well, from the other balcony, you could see the tip of the tree, which we'll see later. I have a shot of. Oh, here they are, the full-size alligators and the turtles. I love them.
And they are from Gatorland. Gatorland actually comes in and does feedings. So if you're staying here, you can. And we almost never get to see the feedings. We always are so busy.
Oh no,
Gingy!
Gingy gingerbread decorating with Gingy himself. How perfect is this?
And unfortunately, this will be the last year for decorating with Gingy. So if you have a chance, it costs $14.95 and up. We got 3 cookies, and it's $14.95.
Right.
And we ended up spending so much time with him because at the time we were there was nobody else. A whole bunch of other people came in.
I could not ask for a better goodbye. If this is going to be the last time we see Gingy, this was tremendous. We actually put him to work since there was no other guests in the area. Why not let Gingy himself decorate our 3rd cookie? And he did a fine job.
And the funny thing is, I think because we were having so much fun, everybody else outside was sort of seeing that, and then all of a sudden it started getting crowded near the end.
Yeah, we're a good advertisement for Gingy. He should hire us. But look at this. He did a good job there. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
And I think this was the best. I think this is a great deal because you could have a family of 5 come in for $14.95, and you get to spend time with Gingy, and you get cookies, and you get to decorate, and it really is a good time.
Right. Well, like I said, we actually last year we built a house, which we still have. So these aren't things that you just eat and they go away. You can save them as a display item.
But I've already started eating the cookies, so I saved.
Did you?
Yes.
Outrageous! Did you eat Gingy's cookie?
I've eaten part of Gingy's cookie.
Oh,
stop.
I would save.
I told you that already.
Gingy's cookie should never
I
be.
saved your cookie.
Oh, here you go. See, Gingy's upset. He just heard you ate his decoration.
He was like throwing the chairs on the floor and stuff. Like, it was crazy.
It was sort of like a dog in the, how the dog is bad and he knows it. At one point, Gingy rips the tablecloth
Don't
off.
say rips, but he takes it off and puts it on his head like a ghost.
This is where he's sort of pretending to mix in. So I took one of the little stuffed Gingies and put it on his arm so it would look like he was just a big decoration.
I think he had a lot of sugar.
But he, of course, he always has a lot of sugar.
That was, it was such a good time. And, we've done this 3 or 4 years now, and it's so much fun.
Now, this is something new this year. It's milk and cookies with Mrs. Claus.
And this was, I think this really is geared more for children. Although the funny thing is, and we had such a big laugh out of it, the kids kept saying how naughty their parents were. And we got to hear all the naughty stuff their parents had done all year.
I was laughing so hard, it was hard to hold the camera steady at one point. Because like you said, Mrs. Claus asked the kids to say if they've been good or bad, and they'd all rat out their parents. It was quite funny. Oh, and there's one of the elves, too. The tallest elf ever.
He reminds me of the elf from Shrekfeast. The Town Crier.
The Town Crier, very much so. I think it's his brother. Outfit. Oh, here is the view from our room of the Luminescence show. We had a little holdover before we were going to another show. There's always something to do. It's like being on a cruise without the boat. You know what I mean?
And even if you're just coming in for ice, you can see the shows and see so much included, with your ticket.
Yeah. I would highly recommend not just doing ice, but doing all this other stuff. Here is the breakfast, our last morning.
Shrekfeast.
Shrekfeast,
sometimes I call it
Shrekfeast. It is Shrekfeast, and with Puss in Boots.
I was so glad Puss in Boots was there.
I was trying to get him to pull out his sword, but he would not do it. It's a dangerous thing.
I think it's probably best he did not.
Oh, and we're getting a refill on my juice with Shrek from the tap.
Yuck.
He told me that. Yeah, Shrek is always very dignified.
And this is in Villa de Flora, and the food here is actually very good. So and this will also end at the end of the year because DreamWorks and Gaylord Palms no longer will have a contract together.
It was great to do it one last time. We had a wonderful stay. Can't wait to go back. We will go back to the Gaylord and see it one more time before the holidays are over. Next, we went to D23 right from the Gaylord. We had a very busy time. This is the D23 Attraction Rewind Destination D. I can't believe I said all that.
I know, it's a big phrase there.
And we're looking at some of the displays. It's sort of like being at Theme Park Connection here.
It is.
Lots of nice old ride vehicles, Star Jets. I remember I've ridden on all these things.
And there was no photos or video inside the hall of the of the seminars or anything or the talks, but we could get of the Orange Bird here and of so many other things.
And now we're going to take a look at the treasures of the Walt Disney Archive. They had a small little display. While we're doing that, we're going to talk about the conference itself. do you have a favorite presentation, or what is your overall takeaway from the 2 days or 1.5 days that we spent there?
I know everybody loved the Tony Baxter Discovery Bay.
Well, we'll get into that after, because I have a few pictures from Paris
that we're going
to show.
Oh, okay.
So aside from that, and I did enjoy that too, what else?
Well, I like the Adventurers Club. You know, that was
seeing the Adventurers Club reunited.
Yep, that was the big thing.
Of course, we also have pictures of that coming up after. I was really asking about anything else.
Anything else? I don't know.
Not those two things.
I'm a little tired. It's been a long week.
Well, here is one of the pigs from World of Motion. Do you remember the World of Motion?
Of course I remember the World of Motion. That was one of my favorite attractions back then. More so than Horizons, which I know everybody will be like, But,
and the horse was also from World of Motion, by the way. And this is a new entry. Very sad to
almost
see him.
Too soon for Maelstrom there. He is so cute, but it's like, Maelstrom should still be open.
It reminds me of Toy Story. These beloved characters are just sitting around collecting dust now. You know, I wish they could come alive. See Figment be alive again would be wonderful.
And I believe this Figment may have been in Mouse Gear. I don't think he was in the attraction.
Oh, is that right?
I believe that's what it said on there.
Aha, that's right. Of course, I did read that too. So
I love the small, and I have no idea why he's wrapped. He maybe he's not quite ready for prime time there.
He is cold.
Yeah. And there is Mr. Toad.
And he is from the Walt Disney World, Florida version of Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad still exists at Disneyland, of course.
It is sort of sad, though, because most of the weekend is remembering things that,
all these great things that aren't there. 20,000 Leagues, Horizons. Yeah. Oh, now this is pretty awesome. The Disneyland Toy Factory, which is really a glorified Waxorama machine. And you know how much I love Waxorama.
I wish we were able to make one. I know those who spent extra money were able to get, for the top of the world.
I'll give you a little secret. We actually have one of those Mickeys, an authentic Mickey from Disneyland I've acquired over the years. So it's with our Waxorama collection. So don't feel too bad.
I know, but I actually like the process. Oh,
you wanted to smell it?
Yes.
You want to actually,
I like the smell of the wax.
Well, it is a vintage machine, so perhaps they didn't want to burden it, overdo it.
And there's Mickey and Peter Pan and then you have Mr.
These are World's Fair figures. You see the Unisphere there, some Mr. Lincolns, and that's from the Ford Pavilion, of course, the dinosaur, and the presidents and all that. All this is from the World's Fair, and these would be great collectibles. I don't have any of these.
Well,
so we don't have any.
But we have Mickey Mouse, so that's the most important thing.
That's right, and some nice props from America Sings and from Adventure Through Inner Space at Disneyland.
Which I never saw, and I never saw
either
of them. I never
saw that either. My first trip to Disneyland was for the 35th anniversary.
What year is that?
Which would have been 1990.
My first year for Disneyland, I believe, was 92.
Okay, so we're
91, 92.
We come in late.
Right when Fantasmic started is the time I went.
I can say for Walt Disney World, though, my first year was 1971. I have never missed a year, so at least I'm perfect with that, but I'm not old enough to be perfect for Disneyland, unfortunately.
And my first year was like 76, so that's still a pretty good long.
Yes, that was
pretty long time.
That was Winnie the Pooh for president year. I remember that. Remember they were voting Winnie the Pooh for president in 76?
I was too young
America
to vote.
on Parade with the big heads. Remember the big heads and all that?
I don't remember a lot
boy.
from back then. I was so young.
We have to shake
the memories.
Well, speaking of memories, we talked about the Tony Baxter Discovery Bay, and after watching, now I've seen him do that presentation in the past, and it was great, but this was a very detailed, and he brought up all these classic images that would have been at Discovery Bay, including the 20,000 Leagues Nautilus there and the Hyperion airship.
And that's from Disneyland Paris, so I was like taking the pictures off the phone and just like posting them because it was interesting. He was talking about things that we had just seen.
Right. And it's so nice that they were able to be used in some form, although from watching his presentation, you could see he would still come out of retirement today if he could put in Discovery Bay. And a little thing we learned about Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris, the DM, Discovery Mountain, still exists. You could still find DMs there.
And we learned about that from taking a tour. If you go to Disneyland Paris, it's like $26 to take a couple-hour tour, and I thought that was a good deal.
Certainly a highlight. The Adventurers Club reunited. Boy, oh boy, that was pretty awesome.
I love the Adventurers Club, so I wish we could have this back all the time, you know, at Disney Springs or something. Why not bring it back with like maybe a food or whatever?
And I was wearing my vintage Adventurers Club sweatshirt that I bought probably around 1992. So later on I was going through some pictures and I ran across this shot of a very younger Jeff with Tony. This was in 93 at a NFFC Disneyana event. And I was like, oh man, I could have had my picture, you know, 20-some years later with the same shirt, because I had the chance. I saw Tony Baxter walking around, so boy, I wish I had done that.
Next time.
Next time. Anyway, we had a great D23 event, and I'm glad we went.
Me too. I had a very good time.
So now we're going to move on to Rock and Brews.
And this is Rock and Brews' first East Coast location in Oviedo. Rock and Brews was started in part by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley.
Of Kiss, right.
You're such a huge Kiss fan.
That's right. That's true.
And there may be a few in the future around here. But first, we're going to talk to Scott Paul. He is the regional partner with Rock and Brews.
Hi, I'm Scott Paul, regional partner with the Rock and Brews.
And can you tell us about Rock and Brews?
Well, Rock and Brews is a classic rock-driven restaurant. We have a lot of very great, big, large TVs, and we play the classic rock videos that we were all accustomed to from our youth, or you know, from the years gone by, intermittent, mixed in between sports. And we have comfort food that has got like a California twist to it, so that it's got pine nuts, roasted red peppers, goat cheese, things like that. But it's also traditional burgers, pizzas, sandwiches, and so on.
And you have how many craft beers and how many bottled beers?
We have 56 craft beers on tap. We do have some, like 7 or 8 of them are your atypical Budweiser and Miller and so on for people that don't want to get into that game. But yes, 56 drafts and also about 75 bottles, different bottles of beer. And they're from all over the world, all the IPAs, the Belgiums, and so on. And we do local too. We bring in some local draft beers.
And what is the involvement of Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley?
Gene and Paul were involved in the first restaurant. They are they're in the franchise group out in California, and they, you know, Gene is a real businessman, a real driver of it. He's really into perfection and helping us with our focus as an organization. And Paul is also part of that, but he really is a foodie too. The guy's really into flavors and working with the pizzas and spices and things too.
We're looking forward also to hearing about the veterans, everything you do for veterans and such too.
We try to stay, you know, Gene is real into it, and he's and I am big time. I'm very old-fashioned when it comes to things. In fact, we actually say the Pledge of Allegiance every day in this restaurant, our employees and managers. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is America. It's a great country, and it didn't come for nothing. You know, people paid dearly. And so that's what we do. That's what we've decided. And we support the local veterans groups. We support those organizations. And yeah, that's what we believe in.
I really like that they focus on veterans, which is why I asked that question.
Right, and there are just so many nice things they do. They're also dog-friendly. Check this out. It is the dog side of the menu.
And we saw Eddie's Feast, and that looked like a good amount of food for a human, too.
It's true.
Like, it looked actually delicious.
Yeah, the food, the dog menu looked wonderful, and it's also kid-friendly. It's a very nice atmosphere, and the food, we tried a sampling of the food. It really was great. Fantastic. I had some sweet potato fries with my my burger. It was wonderful.
And I had a steak sandwich, and usually I don't order a steak sandwich because they usually taste like rubber, but it was actually very tender and very delicious. And I just thought it was really a family atmosphere, and they had so many guests out there for their first day, and I was very impressed by that.
Now, we should mention that the official opening with Gene and Paul is scheduled for January of 2015.
But we don't know when yet. There's no official...
They have not announced the official date. Anyway, that's another show.
That's another show.
We want to thank Pixie Vacations for the contest and for their continuing sponsorship.
And if you can't make it for the Christmas time season...
Flower and Garden,
just around the corner for the
right.
Epcot Flower and Garden Festival.
Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency, the best deals on tickets in town, and Theme Park Connection.
check them out this Saturday.
Big doings. We will also be stopping by, so I can't wait. Anyway, thanks again for listening. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow as we record this show. We'll see you all next week.